A massive thank you to Gift, Cathal, Tushar, Palumi and John for subscribing to the channel. If you're not already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 14 of our F1 22 My Team career mode. Yesterday we returned to the Belgian Grand Prix, of course. Didn't manage to get a video up yesterday from this series, of course. We jumped in to the Austrian GP Challenge, but today we're back. Of course, the Austrian Grand Prix earlier on today. At the time of recording this, I don't know anything that's happened. Of course, this is being recorded on Saturday night. At least I'm going to say the sprint race was quite interesting yesterday. Let me know your comments on sprint races down below. But of course, yeah, if you missed out on the video that went live Friday from this series, of course, we went back to the Hungaroring. Would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. But today, we head to my favourite track on the Formula 1 calendar. Yes, we're returning to Spa-Francorchamps this weekend there. Renault have brought some upgrades as well to the power unit, which have brought us completely back in line with Williams. We've still got a lot of upgrades in the works that I think are already on the car for Monza. Of course, we've now got the triple header of Belgium, Zandvoort, Monza over the next couple of days. So yeah, definitely already, I mean, getting towards the end of Season 1 of this career mode, but need to make a few tweaks as well on some of the engine components. You know, we're starting to get a little bit close to some engine penalties in places. Going to have to be careful with that towards the end of the year. But yeah, let's go have a quick look then at the Drivers' World Championship. Charles Leclerc still leads the way, 52 points clear now over his teammate Carlos Sainz, but it's actually the man in P3, Lewis Hamilton, that has started to close up on those Ferraris there. So second half of the year, you know, if Mercedes have brought upgrades this weekend, could they bring on a late season surprise challenge to the absolute dominance that was Ferrari early on in this campaign? But yeah, back at Belgium though, of course we had, technically I'm going to now say that yesterday was the summer break, but yeah, let's get into the Pirelli Hotlap first of all, and then of course, yeah, ready back for the Belgian Grand Prix. I mean, to be fair, we pretty much know how these things work now. 108 miles an hour in the average speed zone challenge here in the Ferrari F8 Tributo. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go through Eau Rouge for this one though, which should be quite exciting in the rain, so I'll have to wait and see as to how we get on. Of course, you know, Eau Rouge, easy flat in a normal Formula 1 car in the dry. You know, I've driven it sort of in GT3s, GT4s, things like that. GT3s nowadays, you can just about hang on to it, but yeah, GT4 cars, it's a fair old blend up through Eau Rouge there. So yeah, I think we're going to obviously head through Eau Rouge, up over Radion, and then down perhaps some of the Kemmel Straight, as I'm sure, yeah, if we even run a wheel out wide, of course, we're going to probably get penalised. Oh, big wobble over the top of Radion there. But as we head out onto the back straight, how close are we going to be? I think it's going to be silver. These challenges can sometimes be so difficult to try and get the gold. You know what? I'm going to settle for that. Let's get into practice then here at Spa. Oh, it always feels good to head back to Spa-Francorchamps. Apparently can't get the car slowed down into the final chicane. But yeah, always nice to return to my favourite venue in Formula 1. And, you know, there's more and more talks at the moment as to whether Spa won't maintain its place in 2023 as well. Am I slowing down? Struggling to slow down so much into Turn 1. Yeah, as I was saying, seems to be more and more talks about Spa maybe not holding on to its place on the F1 calendar in the future. And I would argue that would be, in terms of circuits, one of the biggest losses in a long time. You know, Spa is up there with, your Monzas, your Silverstones. You know, it really is a track that I can't see any way in which Formula 1 can afford to lose. I mean, to be honest, quite surprised that we've recovered all the delta based on that mistake down at Turn 1. Why am I struggling? I'm using the F1 2021 lines far too much. That's what I'm doing. You know, I'm using a maxed out car. Sort of performance levels there, so just need to be a little bit earlier on the brakes. Heading up through Blanchemont then to finish off my second lap. Really is a story of slow and steady wins the race here at Spa so far, because despite going on what felt like quite a pedestrian lap, still only 1.3 seconds up by the time we get to the checkered flag there, and that's going to be a nice purple score. I have also noticed as well, we have got an engine warning light still on it. It's the gearbox, so it should make it through this weekend without too many concerns, but honestly thought I had swapped that out already, but apparently not. But yeah, we're not going to worry about that too much here. I mean, what's probably going to happen is I'm going to forget about it on a weekend where we're then going to be in contention for points until I get a gearbox failure, but, you know, we'll cross that bridge when I get there, I suppose. We're a second up on a qualifying simulation run, and that is still barely enough for a purple score here as we head up into the bus stop, just to make sure we don't outbrake ourselves once again. I think we should be able to spot it at about 100-metre board in towards the final couple of turns. I mean, yeah, you just can't lose a track like this on the F1 calendar there. As at the final corner we go, up towards the line. That is going to be just about another purple score. Let's get into qualifying. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Right, well, qualifying day then here in Belgium, and safe to say, as always at Spa, there's always the chance of some rain at some point during the session, but we might actually, but looking on the radar, get our first dry race in Lord knows how long now in this career, but it's at least been sort of the last 3 or 4 races. I think it was Austria. But no, even Austria we had some rain as well, if I remember correctly, right towards the end. So yeah, I don't know how many races it's been in a row that we've had rain in recent weeks, but yeah, really running quite a low downforce setup around here. I think I'm using 10-16 wings around this venue. Of course, on the new system, you can run up to 50 wing. So yeah, very, very much low drag, high top speed here as we blast up the Kemmel Straight, almost 210 miles an hour on my first qualifying lap. The Renault E-Tech power unit with all its new upgrades, hopefully going to give me a few more ponies, but we'll wait and see. This will be now where I get knocked out in Q1, down in 22nd, then rounding back up the hill, make sure I wave to where I was back in 2018. I've actually been to Spa twice in the past. One time I sat just on the outside there, the other time I sat in Eau Rouge. First ever Grand Prix I went to all the way back in 2015, but at the final corner up towards the flag, 44.9. Go quicker than Felipe, slower than Fernando Alonso, about where you'd expect to be early on in the session there. That's good. Don't want to let Felipe start believing he's quicker than me, as Ricciardo only 8/10 faster. 7 minutes left on the clock as we head up in towards the final corner. Around a track like Austria or Hungary, that easily gives you time to go for a double run, but around Spa, we're going to have to decide whether this lap's worth it or not right towards the very end. So we're going to have to really push early on this lap, you know, sort of take all the risks. If it goes wrong, then I know I've got time for another one. If not, then we may as well bank the lap time there, as horrible run out the first corner. That, I hope, won't set the tone for this lap. There is already just marginally down as we head up for a Rouge and running on there. If you're still getting issues with oversteer through there as the car turns around, I think I'm running 6-7 ride height, you know, quite high. Obviously, you just lose a little bit down the straights. Of course, porpoising not a thing on F1 at 22. But yeah, we'll wait and see what we can do there. As up through the top of the hill, though, those curves are still lethal. As I think that little mistake there might put pay to this run. 3/10 down. Lucky we're actually able to dance it on the throttle there. Try and slide it through the corner as we head down the other side. Yeah, perhaps just driving this thing a little bit on a knife edge like we did back at the Hungaroring there. Of course, looped it round on my second qualifying lap that weekend. As we now head down through Pouhon. We're finding a little bit of time back. We may as well do the rest of this lap like we're on a qualifying run still, but we are going to abort it at the end as we head through the end of Sector 2 there, using all the curbing. The FI let you get away with it, so of course you're going to take it on F1 at 2022. And then up, yeah, you've got to really avoid that curb on the X there. And you can see we have found all the time back, so there's definitely another sort of 4/10 of a second on at that previous run as we head up in towards the bus stop. Yeah, pretty much level now once more with the lap time despite the mistake. So final lap, we just got to try and get it hooked up, I feel. Sweat mode will need to be engaged there. Look at that, actually finding a bit of time through the final couple of corners. We could easily get down towards a low 44 if, and it's a very big if, I get the lap nailed. Well, 1 minute left on the clock then. I think Fernando Alonso's still on a 44.6. He's currently the fastest man in the drop zone there. Alex Albon, myself, Drugovic, Gasly, and I'm not a betting man, but I'm going to say Nicholas Latifi is probably in last as we head out of the final corner. Oh, like I said, sweat mode's going to need to be engaged there, especially with a mistake like that out of the final turn. Going to cost me a couple of thousandths as we head back down towards turn 1. A little bit of a snag of the brakes there on the way in. As long as we can dance the car on the loud pedal on the exit, we still find the time back. So we're going to have to really, really concentrate, especially through the middle sector here. We know there's time in the car. We know we can find a little bit more there as you try and run the line of least resistance up through a roost there. Pop out onto the Kemmel Straight. Wave to predominantly the Dutch fans as you head up in towards the next corner. Here comes Sebastian Vettel. Braking just for the 50-meter ball. Tip it in. Avoid the curbs like I said, because they will absolutely send you to the shadow realm. And then take a lot of curb on the exit. Down the other side. Through, can never remember this corner's name. I think it begins with an M. Is it Malmedy? I don't know. But anyway, down through no name. Really get the car over the curb in. Right, take a deep breath into Puon. Oh, got nowhere near the apex there, and that's going to throw away a little bit of time. Going to recover it on the way back out there. We're still in the green. But we are pretty much level with my previous lap there. Leave it in 5th gear through the next couple of turns. Keep it tidy, keep it tidy, keep it pinned on the exit there. Use all the curbing as we head up now in towards Sector 3. 2 tenths back up then, so it hasn't been the perfect lap, but we have still found a little bit of time as it's unfolded there. There was definitely a pace for about a 44.4, I feel, around this lap. But as we head up through Blanchemont, got to try and spot our braking point for the bus stop. Oh, way too early. Way too early there. Took a bit too much curb on the way in. Had to sort of limit myself on the throttle there, and big wobble on the exit up to the line. That's going to be lap over. It's a 44.7. It's P18. That one was annoying. And there we go then, having a look at our final Q1 results there. Verstappen fastest ahead of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz there, but Hamilton only 3 tenths away as well around Formula 1's longest track. Yeah, Nicholas Latifi was in last place there, but half a second clear of Drugovich, and we could definitely have made it into Q2 there. You know, we could have been up, I want to say around, we would have probably been between Zhou Guanyu and Yuki Tsunoda at the end of the session there. But P18, I might as well take a grid penalty for the gearbox, to be honest. We may as well start right at the back. And yeah, let's get into it then here from Belgium. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula 1 World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher back in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Magnussen, Max Verstappen and Norris, Mick Schumacher, Hamilton, Perez and Valtteri Bottas, Ocon, Vettel, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. Mr. Monaco, they've taken a grid penalty, Albon, Pierre Gasly and Daniel Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Drugovich, Latifi and Guan Yu Zhou. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And with me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Can I get your take on Ferrari? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Right, well, here we are then on the grid, ready for the Belgian Grand Prix there. And according to the dash, we're starting P15. Doesn't look like that's quite going to be the case there. Maybe we broke F122's ability to count once more. But, you know, at Spa, very much a power circuit. So, going to have to just top up the tank a little bit more than I normally would here. Pretty much a lap spare in reserve. But, of course, a very good chance of a safety car around this venue as well. But let's jump into it then. Last a question mark challenge for the second day in a row. Of course, actually, I did one around Austria, driving as Max Verstappen. I think if we could finish P3 here today, I'd probably be incredibly happy. Don't think that's going to happen, though. Let's just get the formation lap done, try and line up on the grid slot, and fingers crossed we can absolutely send it down at T1. Getting ready then to line up the car on the grid. I wonder if we could have tried to be a bit cheeky and move up to P15, as that's where the game claims we should be. But I don't think we're going to try and risk upsetting Niels Wittich here, especially after he gave Seb a penalty for walking out of a meeting a couple of days ago. But ready then, on the grid for the Belgian GP. Why is there a Williams going round? Oh no, I'm going to have to wait for like 2 minutes. Oh no, it's not even a Williams, it's, I think, Alex Al? No, it might be Albon. Is it Albon? Is it Alonso? I'm going to have to wait like 2 minutes for that Williams to come back round. Well anyway, ready then on the grid for the Belgian GP. 5 red lights. And it is going to be a very long hole, but lights out, and away we go. Oh, come on, try and get on the throttle there as we head down towards turn 1. A lot of Constantina and up already. Ah, Latifi, where are you going, man? Oh, that was scary, down towards turn 1, but somehow we found an opening down the inside there and up straight into P18 of the Grand Prix. That was panic mode there through turn 1, so I'm pretty certain Drugovic and I basically swap places as he drops down to P21. Heavy fuel lap 1 there, car bottoming out as we head up through Eau Rouge. But are we going to be able to get a run on Pierre Gasly as we head up the Kemmel Straight? No, we are not. In fact, Yuki Tsunoda is going to be the one applying the pressure there. We'll do it accidentally. Oh, okay, we're calm. We've accidentally just done the wildest send in the world on Pierre Gasly, but somehow made it work there. And I'm at a P17 then, off the start. I think that's got to be one of my most chaotic, evil starts I've done on F122 as we head down the hill, though. You can see now everyone pretty much in single file just in front of us. Is Daniel Ricciardo, the Australian, in his McLaren. Had a lot of battling with him last week. Don't think he was a fan of it, but, you know, we take the rough with the smooth in this series there. It's nice to see AI aren't ridiculously OP down through Puon anymore. As Tsunoda, I'm so sorry, I got a wobble on over the curb. I'm Tsunoda. I cannot put my hand up enough and apologise there. Don't actually know whether, I don't think he got damage from that. So yes, he definitely did. Oh, Yuki, I'm so sorry, man. That was not my intention whatsoever. Yuki Tsunoda's running out of the box at the end of lap 1. I've now got Nicholas Latifi all over my gearbox. They just cannot attack the curbs around here like you used to be able to in the older F1 games. You know, just where the ride height's so low now because of the ground effect, just anything like that you always bottom out. But Daniel Ricciardo, the cheeky double overtake through the final couple of turns there, and he's going to pull it off. Albon and Alonso both have been distributed there and navigated by the Australian. Tsunoda's into the pits. I'm going to go to bed tonight with a guilty conscience, but the show must go on. Can we try and move El Plan down to P17? Let's wait and see there, as we learnt at Hungary, we need to stay in the DRS. As Charles Leclerc, I'm pretty certain, still leads the way at the front. Hamilton, though, up into P2, so could this now be the two championship protagonists out front battling there? It's, I think that's Kevin Magnussen. He's hung on to P4. What a lad. Well, DRS now enabled then, and looks like pretty much everyone from myself up to second is going to be in a DRS train here. Latifi as well just behind me, but Drugovic just dropping back slightly early on. That's not what we want to see from our team here. There was big snap of oversteer there as the car ground out up through Radion. But yeah, not really going to try and push to make moves still early on. We just want to try and stick with these guys. Don't want to just risk doing anything stupid there, as I mean, Alonso might try and apply pressure to Albon, especially if Alex loses the DRS to the cars in front, which is a very strong possibility. I think the problem we're going to quickly face, perhaps being stuck behind Alonso here, is the fact he's only really that fast down the straight. I actually think through the corners, especially in the final sector, throughout the bus stop and the source, actually a bit quicker than the Alpine there as well. Daniel Ricciardo trying to make another move. This time around it's on Lance Stroll. So they're now definitely going to be out the 1 second zone. So that basically now means, unless we get retirements or issues, this is officially P13 is the best we can come today. Either that or a safety car. I mean, look at this. A Constantina and up through the middle sector can be awful. So yeah, we might try and start picking cars off, but we're still only on lap 4 of 22 here. So easy around Spa to think you're so much further into a race, or so much closer to the apex through Puon, just because obviously the laps are so long. Oh, Daniel Ricciardo's really broken away though over the course of this lap. I think Albon wants to try and get a slice of that P14 pie in this GP as getting through the bus stop. You can just see, I don't know whether Alonso's struggling through there or he just has got nowhere to go in comparison to the guys in front of him, but especially down in Turn 1. I might try and send it here. Look at this, Alonso so early on the brakes, so we'll just slide up the inside through the first corner there, and that is a 2-time world champion navigated in a faster car there. Just make sure we stay within the 1 second zone of Alex Albon, as we've definitely got a lot of battery still to use as well in this Grand Prix, as we get a nice run up through a Rouge and Rally on that time round. Are we going to see Albon now make a move on Sir Lance as we head up the back straight? No, he actually just stays half of the slipstream for some reason, but reassuring to see as well, Alonso ain't got nothing on me down that straight. Equal power units, but I'd imagine the Renault's got a few more upgrades on it. All over the back of Albon down at Turn 1. They're almost ran into his diffuser as we head out of the first corner. Do the 2022 cars have diffusers? That's probably a really dumb question, but, you know, I'm ill, so I'm allowed to ask it. So you head back up through Eau Rouge and Rally. Look at how close we get to the Williams gearbox there. He just doesn't seem to be able to stick close to the Aston Martin, and we might actually go for a slipstream move. I'm losing my voice in the process. This is terrible commentary. But up the back straight we go. Later on the brakes than Alex Albon there. Nowhere near the apex either. But we do now move up into P15 then. We've got to again make sure we stay in the DRS range of the car in front. The one thing I'm worried about at the moment during this Grand Prix, if we can get close enough to Lance Stroll, which I certainly believe we will, are we then going to be able to break out of the DRS range of the Aston Martin, so we can't just come straight back at me? We're definitely not going to get close enough to Ricciardo until we get to the pit window, and even then that's going to be optimistic based on how good the AI are on fresh tyres. But yeah, wondering whether it's just worth sitting behind Lance for a lap or two. Grip level's going to start falling away soon. I think the team wants us to go to about lap 10, lap 9 or lap 10 on these tyres. But yeah, Alonso and Albon have actually battled out as well, which means we have got a little bit of safety behind us, but I don't think that's going to last for long. How wild it would be if you had DRS all the way up through here. Imagine trying to balance the DRS heading through Blanchimont. But anyway, back within 3/10 of Sir Lance. Just going to try and line myself up for a move up the Kemmel Straight. There you can just see the British Racing green car. Remember when all the car reveals were at the start of the year, everyone thought that Aston Martin looked absolutely incredible, as Mark just confirmed we are going to be on hards. Not so sure. I mean, I don't dislike the scheme, but it's certainly not my favourite anymore as we've moved through the season. It's by far and away not the fastest car during the 2022 season, although they have made the most progress there. And speaking of progress, fingers crossed now, it's not going to be Sebastian Vettel, but it is going to be his teammate here. Here comes against Lance Stroll there to the outside. The Canadian's going to try and defend it. We go late on the brakes. Oh, get all over the curve through the second part there. Sit on the exit, so we get a nice snap of oversteer for good measure. And it definitely wasn't the cleanest cut pass we've done. You know, we haven't got a good few tenths on him, but you know, I would say dirty, yeah, but of course not really a thing anymore. So 3 seconds the gap now up to Daniel Ricciardo. We've got the former Red Bull duo battling it out up the road, but 3.5 seconds is a tall order. As yeah, we have definitely not built up the gap I needed. Please, Lance, don't, not into a Rouge, man, you absolute fruitcake. Lance Stroll, we're going to go side by side up through our Rouge there. Fernando Alonso now might be able to get the run as well. And we're about to lose 2 places in 1. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. I can't do anything still. Top end speed there as we're just going to slot back in behind. Is Alonso going to hook it up around the outside? That is a fantastic double move by El Plan there, if he pulls it off, of course. I mean, we might be able to come back into this as well. There we go. Alonso, yeah, does slip by. So fantastic little double overtake there from Fernando Alonso. Whoa! Really struggling now with the balance of the car. I would pit 1 lap early, but I don't think it's worth it. Just re-cool down the tyres, focus on making sure we stay within that 1 second. And I mean, El Plan has absolutely nailed this one, because now He's got a 1.7 second lead over myself there, and well out the 1 second range of Lance Stroll. So he is, yeah, finesse that one just by really pushing through the midway part of the lap. We're not even going to be able to make a move back around Stroll. So we've got to box the end of this one then. Fingers crossed. Well, actually, I don't know whether I want them to or not, because we don't still really know whether the overcut or the undercut's the way to go anymore. But, yeah, got to keep my head down. Let's see what we can do. So you never know, might be able to try and go for a cheeky move on Lance Stroll before we get to the pit lane. Here is gaining as we head up through Blanchemont. Going to try and cheeky send on the Canadian. As to the inside we'll go there. Absolutely sent it on Lance Stroll, and that might be a critical move as we head into the pit lane there. Kind of bullied him out of the way, but you know what? Sometimes that's what you got to do in Formula 1. There is everyone around me into the pit lane. Fernando Alonso just up the road there. I wonder if we'll be close enough just to hold him up a little bit. And looks like we all have been there, so that might be critical in the second half of this GP. Make sure we get optimal turning point. Just run over the Haas mechanic as well there. No!
I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put it behind us and finish the race strong.
I love all those places I've gained all day long, and it's all gone up in smoke. Any chance of closing up to Alonso's gone. And now we might be resigned to battle for P19 with Pierre Gasly. Oh, that is... I mean, it's a realistic feature, but... Oh, steady on, cold tyres, Matt. Yeah, it's a realistic feature, but no Formula 1 team has that many tyre issues unless your name's Haas, surely. As I've said before, though, you know, the AI is so strong on outlaps on cold rubber there. Pierre Gasly has been able to open up a 1 second margin. Dragovic into the pit lane, though, as we are closing back up on Pierre at the moment. I think he's a man on a mission. Now some of the cars around him have spaced out, but where are we actually going to re-emerge then in this Grand Prix as we try and close that gap back down? Don't really want to battle Stroll for the rest of the afternoon. We are going to gain a few places at least, sort of save some of my dignity. I'm going to be back in P17? Yeah, P17 then, so not good, but not the end of the world either. Let's see if we can close up this gap to Pierre Gasly. I'm using so much battery now, we've just got such a gaggle of cars in front of me that we want to try and get within the 1 second zone of. Pierre Gasly, oh, I was down to 8/10 there for a brief moment. Is it going to dip below 1 second? Yes, it is. That's absolutely critical at this stage of the afternoon there. Means we won't have to use as much battery to try and stay close to the Frenchman. Still going to be difficult to try and close up the gap, but also gives me something to defend from Lance Stroll. There's a big gaggle of cars here. It doesn't quite extend up to the points, but, you know, if we could sort of recover back to a P14, I'd call that a win with the race we've had. I wonder if Kevin Magnussen's got issues later on in the afternoon here, because Alex Albon, last year, you know that, well, I mean, last year we didn't have either of those drivers in Formula 1, but Williams versus a Haas would have been somewhat believable early on in 2022. Has not been such a common occurrence there, but is allowing myself and Pierre to close up quite rapidly. We've just got to try and wait for an opportunity now. So I think, yeah, we must have overtaken Pierre on lap 1. Oh, come on, try and put the power down. Don't think I'm quite going to be able to get a run on the Frenchman this time. We also do need to save the battery in these final 9 laps. It's been a dramatic Belgian Grand Prix though up to now, as we really nail Eau Rouge. Actually, might be able to get a run on Pierre as we're going to go up the inside, and he is surely not going to like this. As we head side by side with the AlphaTauri, they're a tiny bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna, 92 Spain style stuff, but up into P16 we now re-emerge. Let's see if we can kick off these two. Oh, here we go. Here goes Albon up the inside of Kevin Magnussen as we head up in towards Blanchemont. K-Mag is not a man I'd be willing to go side by side through there with. But Albon's pulled it off, has he? K-Mag still hanging on the inside. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the show as Albon, I think, has packed his bags and is heading to the Netherlands already there. Not too sure where he was going down at the final couple of turns, but we'll claim the place up at a P15 now. Is if we can dispose of K-Mag and then break free, maybe leave these guys to battle, I would quite happily take a fairly lonely P14 finish here. There's been a lot going on in today's race, but I don't think this time round, unless we use a lot of battery, we're going to quite get close enough to Kevin Magnussen as we head up through Eau Rouge there. Again, a big wobble. Car bottoms out in a really weird spot on F122, but gaining. Now with the DRS, we know how quick that Haas car can be down the straights. Is still gaining on Kevin Magnussen, but not close enough this time round to go for a lunge. Instead, though, Kevin Magnussen really slow off the exit of the corner there. We'll actually get to the inside. Oh, that we locked up slightly on the way in there, and I mean, it's a kind of move K-Mag would do himself, so Not going to hold too much remorse, but yeah, I think aggressive is the word to describe that one there. Just snagged the wheel over the little bump on the way to the apex, but we get it slowed down. We gave him half a car's width at most, but we do now inherit P14 once more. Oh, go on, Albon. Trying to get a run on Kevin Magnussen up in towards Blanchemont there, and that could slow them both down and push them outside the 1 second window. We just got to push a little bit more, make sure we get into that safety margin. Definitely feel like we've overworked the tyres a bit too much. There was a good example of that. There you go. But now 1.4 seconds. Yep, Mark and I on the same wavelength as our definitely now. Need to just take a lap or so just to bring him back into the operating window once more. As, yeah, the gap now, 1.5 seconds. Love to see this with 7 to go. Now, we've got yellow flags out. Someone's got issues further up the road. Could this now be P13 in this Grand Prix? Let's wait and see. Who is it? That might be falling to the wayside here, is it? Oh, I think it is. One of the mugs. Is that Lewis Hamilton or is that George Russell out of the Belgian Grand Prix? They've been a while since we've had a Mercedes power unit. No, it was Lando Norris last weekend, wasn't it? Hamilton, after such a strong run over the last couple of weekends, they're out of the Belgian Grand Prix. We're going to ignore that line. I was distracted by the goat there parked on the side of the track. But I'm going to put P13, unlucky for some, hopefully not me. No, not more yellow flags out, it's just Hamilton at the start of a new zone. Heartbreak for Lewis, that is probably any slim chance of a championship this year. Completely out the window. Yep, Sebastian Vettel into the pits at the end of that lap, so now at a P12 then of the Grand Prix. My only guess is he collided with Hamilton's retiring car, but we'll take the extra place once more. That's what, 11 World Championships we've navigated in 1 lap. I'll take that. Right, well, 3 laps to go then here from Belgium at the moment, just controlling the pace over Pierre Gasly, who somehow snuck past both Kevin Magnussen and Alex Albon around the same time a couple of minutes after I did. Of course, if he did it at the same time, he'd probably be a long way up the road, but yeah, to be honest, been quite impressed as well with the pace we've had in comparison to Alonso and Ricciardo. They have been pulling away, but not by a huge amount, only sort of like 3-4 tenths a lap. So it just goes to show, you know, in this mad development race that is Season 1, we are only just a few upgrades away from having a car that can battle the points. It's just about hoping everyone else, you know, obviously we get failed upgrades quite often on this game. I don't think the AI ever do. But yeah, 3 to go here from Belgium. P12 is a solid result on the board to kickstart the second half of the year. But yellow flags out again then. Are we going to be in F1's worst position in P11? As looks like one of the Alfa Romeos going slowly. That's Valtteri Bottas, who drops to the wayside.
Okay, they're out of this race.
Yeah, it is going to mean we're now P11. But I don't think, it's terrible as it sounds, I don't think Alonso or Ricciardo picked up any front wing damage stuck behind him, so they're not going to pit right at the end, and I'm not going to be able to try and absolutely mug a point away in this Grand Prix, which is a bit of a shame, I can't lie. But P11 is another position up the board, but yeah, 1 place outside where I'd love to be. Right, last lap then. Here are the Belgian Grand Prix, and I mean, we were last on the grid here, remember. Don't think we would have had the pace to score points, even if we had started a little bit higher up the run, but yeah, last to 11th is not a bad showing here at our first race out of Belgium on F1 22, as long as I don't bottle it up for a rouge on this final lap. Looks like Charles Leclerc, after a couple of shaky weekends, he's going to be back to winning ways here. Is it actually going to be P11? There's Pierre Gasly gaining still. Much have to park the bus around the middle sector on this final lap because the tyres are well and truly gone. Track's starting to look a little bit overcast as well there as I'm sort of looking around. Charles Leclerc heading up in towards the final couple of corners to walk away with what, that is 8th race victory of the year. That might even be 9 or 10 to be honest at this stage of the campaign there. Ferrari back on top once more. It's never far away on F1 22. It feels like Charles Leclerc, he'll come through to win the Belgian Grand Prix there and further extend his lead at the top of the championship. Carlos Sainz will make it yet another Ferrari 1-2 as here comes Pierre Gasly down around my outside in towards the final sector of the Grand Prix. Is he just about going to have enough there? We're going to try and squeeze him out over the curbing, and he will back out for now though. I think it's Verstappen P3 ahead of George Russell there, and I think it's going to be Lando Norris, Mick Schumacher, Sergio Perez there, and I think Esteban Ocon rounding out towards the bottom of the top 10. Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso, of course, picking up the last points, but look at that Gasly really trying to go for anything in towards the final few corners here. We're just going to park the bus on the inside of the final couple of turns here, as this car is definitely a bus on these old tyres. I mean, it was a good job there, Gasly bottled it, because he could have easily flung it around the outside. I broke way too early. Up towards the line, though. P11 will have that.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Ferme after a fantastic race. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari. Let's see how the driver's standings have changed. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we go then, and to be honest, yeah, probably one of my best drives of the year there. Charles Leclerc takes home the dub ahead of Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. George Russell, Lando Norris, Mick Perez, Ocon, Ricciardo and Alonso round out the top 10 there. No idea why Sergio Perez's channel is in a Alex Albon or Sergio Perez Red Bull career there, fighting with Mick Schumacher down at the bottom of the top 10, but you never really know. Further down though, Lewis Hamilton and of course Valtteri Bottas, the only two cars not to make it to the checkered flag. But yeah, 11 places gained in that one. I'm very, very happy with that when all is said and done there. Gutted not to score a point, but yeah, we still got a very good job done at the end of the weekend there. Mick Schumacher with that result re-jumps Fernando Alonso in their battle over P11. No other movers though in the Drivers' Championship. Constructors wise though, Ferrari now 212 points, you love to see it, clear of Mercedes, who are a further 9 ahead of Red Bull. Alpine now 1 point ahead of Haas, with McLaren and Alfa Romeo not too far away as well there. And yeah, still the battle for P8 continues between AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, ourselves and Williams. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Like I said, apologies, you know, for the thinner amount of content going on the channel at the moment. I'm hoping fairly soon. I have actually definitely got COVID, which is not the mood. But yeah, fingers crossed quite soon we'll be able to get you guys more content that you deserve. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon, ready for the Dutch Grand Prix. Not my favourite track, but fingers crossed it's not OP on F1 2022. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.